You want views? Then you've got to understand one core thing. Titles are everything. Before the thumbnail, before the video content, before any edit or camera angle or storyline, the very first decision a viewer makes is based on your title. It's the gateway. It's the moment where someone scrolling for hours suddenly stops and thinks, "Wait, what is this?" That's your goal. You're not just writing a line of text. You're writing a command for attention. Let's get something clear right now. YouTube doesn't promote your video. People do, and people only promote what they click. So if your title doesn't trigger that curiosity, that urgency, that sense of "I have to see this right now," you've already lost. The best video in the world, with the most heartfelt message or epic scene, will die a quiet death if the title doesn't make people stop. Most creators get this wrong because they assume their video will speak for itself. They think, well, it's good content, so eventually people will find it. But YouTube doesn't work that way. The algorithm is not your friend or your enemy. It's a mirror. It shows people what they show interest in. If no one clicks, no one watches. It doesn't care how much effort you put in. It only cares about signals, and the title is the first major signal that gets sent out. So what kind of titles actually get views? The kind that hook people emotionally. The kind that make people pause mid-scroll. Think about your own habits. When you're browsing, do you click on a video because it politely describes itself? Or do you click because the title sparks a question in your mind you can't answer without watching? Exactly. Curiosity, emotion, tension, these are the pillars of a hyper-forming title. Let me show you the difference. Let's say you make a video about giving money to strangers. That's your basic premise. Now, most creators would title it something like "Giving $100 to random people." Not terrible. It tells you what happened, but it doesn't pull you in. Now change it to "He cried after I gave him $100. Suddenly, there's emotion. There's a story. There's a human reaction. That second title makes you wonder, why did he cry? Who is he? What happened? That's the hook. You see, we don't click because we're curious about the money. We click because we're curious about the reaction. Humans connect with humans, so the more your title hints at emotion, conflict, or resolution, the more likely it is to generate clicks. Here's a rule: your title should promise a payoff. Not just describe what's in the video, but suggest what the viewer will get from it. Will they be shocked? Will they laugh? Will they cry? Will they learn something that changes their life? Titles are not labels. They are trailers. Think of every viral title as the tip of an iceberg. The viewer can only see the top, but they sense the depth underneath. Now let's break it down into a formula that works over and over again. Number or trigger plus emotional hook plus stakes or surprise. That's the holy trinity. For example, I spent 24 hours trapped in ice. That title has a number, 24 hours. It gives structure and a clear time frame. It has a situation, trapped in ice, which is extreme and dangerous. And it makes you ask, how did he survive? What happened in there? That's the curiosity gap at work. Another one, I tried to survive in the world's most dangerous jungle. Again, there's a challenge, danger, and survival. The title implies a journey, a story, and risk. That's what you want. You want the viewer to feel like they're about to witness something unusual, something they wouldn't dare do themselves. But don't stop at structure. Language choice matters. The words you use must be loaded. Avoid weak, generic words like fun, great, or interesting. These don't trigger the brain, they're dead. You need words that activate the imagination. Words like trapped, broke, million, exposed, secret, extreme, deadliest, shocking, and forbidden. These words have weight, they carry emotion, they raise eyebrows, they make people feel. You're not trying to explain the video, you're trying to sell the video. That means your title needs to be irresistible, like a headline you can't ignore. You know those old tabloid magazines that used to sit at grocery store checkouts? Aliens found in a secret government lab. You probably didn't believe it, but you wanted to know what the story was. That's how powerful words can be when arranged the right way. Now let's talk length. Shorter is usually better. If your title is too long, it gets cut off. That means people don't see the payoff. And if they don't see the full sentence, the click-through rate drops. Aim for under 50 characters. Think about the most viral titles you've seen. They're quick to read, quick to understand, and hard to ignore. If you can't explain the curiosity in 10 words or less, go back and rewrite. And yes, rewriting is non-negotiable. If you write one title and call it a day, you're leaving views on the table. Write 5, 10, 20. Each time, sharpen the hook, remove the fluff, find the most powerful version of the truth. Don't lie, don't clickbait, but amplify the interest factor. Take what actually happened and find the angle that makes it unforgettable. Here's a trick pros use. Write the title before filming. This keeps your entire video aligned with one promise. If your title is, "I spent the night in the world's quietest room," then every shot you take, every sentence you speak, should reinforce that theme. No distractions, no side quests. Your job is to fulfill the emotional contract you made with the viewer when they click. Now, imagine your title is "I lived like a billionaire for 24 hours. That's not just about money, it's about fantasy, it's about lifestyle, so your video better show the wildest, most extravagant, most over-the-top experiences you can capture. Because people click to live that fantasy through you, the title creates expectation. The video has to deliver. What happens when the title doesn't match the content? Disappointment. People click away. Retention drops. YouTube notices, and your video dies. So your title is not a lie. It's a lens. It focuses the viewer's attention on the most interesting part of your story. Find that part. Highlight it. Lead with it, then back it up with real moments that meet or exceed the viewer's imagination. Here's another huge tip. Study what works. Look at videos with millions of views in your niche. Study their titles word for word. Ask yourself, what emotion are they triggering? What question are they creating? What words are they using that you're not? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to understand the engine that turns it. Let's go deeper into the psychology. Great titles don't give away the ending. They open a loop. The human brain hates unanswered questions. If I say, "I found something hidden in my backyard," you want to know what I found. If I say, "This stranger changed my life in 1 hour," your mind starts racing. Who was it? What did they do? How did it happen? That's the loop. You're opening a curiosity gap and forcing the viewer's brain to resolve it by clicking. You also want to add stakes. Make the viewer feel like something valuable is on the line. Time, money, risk, identity, sanity. The more that's at risk, the more we care. That's why survival challenges and high-budget experiments do so well. They raise the emotional cost of the outcome. If you fail, something important is lost, and viewers are hardwired to care about that. Even small details matter. Change one word, and you can change everything. "I stayed in a cabin in the woods" is bland. "I was alone in a haunted forest cabin" is compelling. One word, haunted, adds fear, mystery, and suspense. That's how powerful language is. And remember, you're competing against everything. Not just other YouTubers, but Netflix, TikTok, Instagram, the news, everything. Your title has to be that one line that cuts through the noise and commands attention. There's no room for pretty good. It has to be undeniably clickable. That's the standard. So here's what you do. After writing your title, ask yourself, if I saw this on someone else's channel, would I click? Not maybe. Not if I had time. Would you instantly click? If the answer is anything less than a full body yes, rewrite it. Tweak it, sharpen it, sleep on it, and try again. That's how important this one sentence is. You could have a video with incredible editing, perfect pacing, and a brilliant storyline. But if your title doesn't make people curious, none of it will matter. Think of the title as your first impression. It sets the tone, it makes the promise, and it decides whether the rest of your hard work will even get seen. Don't rush it. Don't treat it like an afterthought. Obsess over it, because the creators who win aren't just the best editors or storytellers. They're the best at getting people to click. If you're serious about getting millions of views, then you have to start treating your titles like weapons. They're not just lines of text, they're strategic tools that slice through a crowded feed, grab attention, and refuse to let go. You're not fighting against bad videos, you're fighting against invisible videos. The kind that never get seen because no one ever clicked. And the only way to win that battle is to master the psychology of titles. Think of your audience like people walking through a loud, busy marketplace. Everyone is shouting, offering samples, waving signs. You have 1 second to get someone to stop. 1 second to whisper something so powerful they pause, turn, and come closer. That's your title. It's the whisper in the chaos. And the way you construct it decides whether your voice gets heard or ignored. Most creators try to be clever, but clever doesn't always work. Clarity beats cleverness, always, because your title should punch people in the brain, not make them solve a riddle. A clever pun might make you smile, but a clear, emotional phrase makes you click. Your job is not to sound smart, your job is to get attention, so ditch the poetry and get straight to the point. What happened and why should I care? A good rule is 1 idea per title. If you cram too much in, the brain gets overwhelmed. Instead of I survived a shark attack and climbed Everest in the same week, break it into 2 killer videos, because each one deserves its own spotlight. Each one could be massive if you don't bury the hook. Simplicity scales, simplicity spreads, 1 crystal. Clear idea beats 5 vague ones every time. And while we're talking about ideas, don't confuse information with story. Tips to grow on YouTube is information. This one trick made my channel blow up overnight is a story. The second one hooks because it implies a journey, a twist, a transformation. People crave stories. They live for the before and after, the problem and solution, the failure and triumph. If your title can hint at a narrative arc, even in just a few words, it instantly becomes more clickable. Here's the truth, we're not just selling videos. We're selling emotions, we're selling experiences. When someone clicks, they're not doing it for the footage. They're doing it because they want to feel something. Awe, shock, joy, fear, anger, hope. The stronger the emotion you can suggest in your title, the stronger the click impulse will be. That's why I gave a homeless man $10, 0 works not because of the money, but because it promises transformation and emotion. Another concept that works like magic, contrast. Put 2 ideas next to each other that don't seem to belong, and the brain can't help but be curious. Broke kid buys his first Lamborghini. I trained like a Navy SEAL for 7 days. I spent 24 hours in a billionaire's mansion, then slept on the street. These titles smash expectations, they force the viewer to reconcile the contrast, and that friction creates a spark that leads to a click. Now let's go deeper. Titles that tease a mystery are like catnip for the human brain. I found a secret door in my house. This video was deleted 5 times before it could be uploaded. No one has ever survived this game until now. See how all of these make you ask questions you need answers to? That's the curiosity gap in action. It's the space between what you know and what you want to know. Fill that gap just enough to create tension, then let the video resolve it. Some of the best titles of all time create an emotional conflict in the viewer. He deserved to lose, but I let him win. Now you're wondering, why did he deserve to lose? What made the creator let him win? There's a moral dilemma baked into the title. And dilemmas are powerful because people want to take sides, they want to feel something, and when they feel strongly, they engage deeply. Here's a trick that's underused but insanely effective. Direct address. Speak to the viewer, not about yourself. You're wasting your life, watch this before it's too late. That hits different than how I fixed my life. The second is about the creator, the first is about you. It's a challenge. It pulls the viewer into the frame and makes it personal. When your title points a finger at the audience gently or urgently, it activates their emotions in a big way. You can also use open loops by starting a sentence in the title and finishing it in the thumbnail or vice versa. Like, "This one mistake cost me everything." And then the thumbnail shows I shouldn't have trusted him. Separately, they're curious. Together, they demand a click, because now the viewer is mentally stitching the puzzle together. You've created an emotional cliffhanger, and the only way to complete it is by watching. Now let's talk fear of missing out. FOMO is real. When your title suggests that watching could change your life or not watching could mean missing out, it becomes irresistible. This will be deleted in 24 hours. Everyone who watched this got rich. Why 99% of people fail and how not to. These are all built on the idea that the viewer is standing at a fork in the road, and if they don't click, they might regret it. That urgency drives massive engagement. Scarcity works too. If your title implies that something is limited, rare, or exclusive, people lean in. Only 3 people know about this trick. I was the first to try the new Tesla Cyberjet. When viewers feel like they're getting early access, insider info, or VIP treatment, they feel special. And that emotional status boost can be the difference between scroll and click. Don't forget stakes. One of the strongest ways to hook someone is to put something on the line. I bet my life savings on a coin flip. If I lose this game, I delete my channel. He only had one shot. These titles raise the emotional risk. They make the viewer wonder what's going to happen. The higher the stakes, the higher the interest. Now here's a deadly mistake to avoid. Don't be boringly accurate. A title that says, "Day in my life as a student," might be honest, but it's also invisible. Add tension. Why I quit college at 19 to chase my dream. Now you've got a story. You've got conflict, rebellion, risk. Accuracy matters, but drama sells. You also want to avoid flat formats. Top 10 tips, how to do X, and my morning routine. Might have worked in 2012, but today's algorithm favors engagement. That means your title has to earn clicks at scale. The more it triggers raw curiosity or emotional reaction, the better. So take the old format and evolve it. Instead of my morning routine, say I tried Jeff Bezos' morning routine for 30 days, here's what happened. That's a story, that's a test, that's a result people want to see. Sometimes it helps to test multiple titles. Post a short on the same topic with different hooks. Use community polls. Ask viewers which version they'd click. Study a/B tests. Some creators even make 2 different thumbnails and titles. Upload them at separate times and track which one performs better. Don't rely on gut, rely on data because titles are measurable. Click-through rate tells you if you hit the mark, and if you ever feel stuck, remember this: the best titles come from real reactions. Show your video to a friend and ask them what stands out. What moment made them laugh, gasp, or sit forward? That moment is your hook, and the title should spotlight it. Don't get lost in your own head. Let human emotion guide you. Want another pro tip? Watch trailers. Movie trailers are elite-level title training. The first line of narration, the text flashes, the cliffhangers, the tension, it's all there. Trailers sell a 2-hour story in 30 seconds. You're doing the same thing with your title and thumbnail. So study how they do it, because Hollywood spends millions getting that formula right. But in the end, here's what matters most. Titles are promises. If you break the promise, the viewer leaves. If you deliver or over-deliver, the viewer stays, shares, subscribes, and comes back. So don't chase the click at the cost of trust. Clickbait dies, integrity scales. The most legendary creators build titles that are both explosive and honest. That's the sweet spot. That's where long-term growth lies. Make your titles so strong that even people who hate your genre still click. Make your titles so powerful they get copied by others. Make your titles so unforgettable that they echo in people's heads long after the video ends. That's when you know you've won the game, not because the algorithm favored you, but because people did. This is not just about views. It's about commanding attention in a world that's drowning in content. It's about mastering the art of the first impression. It's about making something so compelling that strangers from around the world stop what they're doing, just to hear what you have to say, because when your titles are that good, nothing can stop you. Not competition, not obscurity, not even the algorithm. Great titles are gravity, and if you learn how to write them, the world can't help but be pulled in. So here's the truth. In a world overflowing with noise, your title is your voice. It's the spark that ignites curiosity, the promise that pulls people in, the reason your video gets its shot to be seen. If you master this one skill, not thumbnails, not editing, not fancy equipment, but titles that demand attention, you unlock the front door to everything else. Views, growth, impact, it all begins with that first click. So don't treat your title as an afterthought. Treat it as the lifeline of your content, because if the title doesn't win, the video never even gets to fight.